go. Looks like YouTube's up and ready. We're going live in 3, 2, 1. Excellent. So welcome everybody to YouTube land. I got my comments pane open. I got StreamYard ready to go. I'm going to bring up WEBULL here. So let me share my screen for that. There we go. So you guys should see that in just a moment here. All right, so there's WEBULL, and we got Fisker on here at the moment, given a $40 price target from Morgan Stanley that came out about 6 hours ago. So we see from yesterday, big spike in the after hours into the pre-market hours today. This is the 5-minute chart. Let me go to the 30-minute chart. There we go. Clean it up just a little bit. So now we're looking at the 30-minute chart, and you can see climbed up to $18.25 as we near the market open, just in about 10 minutes time from right now. And what we're looking at, if we go over here, is the Yahoo, wrong Y word. Fisker jumps as Morgan Stanley sets $40 target, makes case for $90. So this is getting people pretty excited about this. So it says from investing.com, Fisker soared 11%. Now it's up over 20% during the pre-market right now. Overweight, meaning that it's going to expected to outperform the market, and then $40 price target in 12 months time. So more than doubling its current price. Still, I think it's just over $18 at the moment in the pre-market hours. That's moving quickly, of course, the low 18s. And so we should be good at, well, they say from Monday's closing price. So I'm talking pre-market, but it's still up over 100%. Analysts also set the new $90 bull case for the stock. So that would be absolutely incredible to watch that take place. And the Ocean SUV, late 2022. So Fisker, the risk there is that they're still pre-production. We don't know what the demand is going to look like, or the deliveries are going to look like. So those are always risks that you take. But it is pretty exciting to watch Fisker finally make that big move that we knew that it was capable of. So that was nice thing to see. Fisker magnetite up. Okay, yeah, we knew about that. The advanced driver assistance system for the Ocean. Perfect. Yeah, so that'd be cool to read a little bit more about that bull case that they have for that $90 per share and see exactly what they see for it. All right, so let me go back over to WEBULL here. In the title, I need to make sure I can see my comments. There we go. By the way, if you're new to this, or just as a reminder, if you want to greet me, say good morning to all of you. Use the comments to do so. Also, if there's any stocks or cryptos or anything that you would like to specifically take a look at, just let me know. And we most certainly talk about what we have. If it's anything that I follow, I can talk about it more specifically, other than just what I see in the charts. If it's one that I don't follow, I can tell you what I see in the charts and maybe what I know of maybe the industry or the crypto overall. And sometimes we can find some of those different influences that might impact it over the longer term. So incredible move by Fisker. Digital Turbine yesterday was a little bit muted following the their earnings, and their earnings were pretty good. And in the pre-market here, you can see they rallied up over $68 per share. Now it's settling around 67. And on this 30-minute chart, I wonder if we'll sit on this 50-day or if we'll tag below it when the market opens. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a little bit of a pullback at the start. Apps being one of my favorite, of course. Do you happen to be an MVST? I think it's Microvast. I believe that I am. Good morning. Any chance you can look at skills? Absolutely. So hello, Victor, and hello, Ross. All right. So let's take a look at MVST. I will talk about the Ethereum, by the way. Usually during the pre-market here, since we're sort of on a little bit of a deadline for what's going to happen at market open, or taking a look at the market open, I like to make sure that I'm here for it. Crypto not necessarily being exposed to that same 930 bell is something that I tend to just put a little bit secondary time-wise, but something that I'm super highly excited about. So let's move on there to Microvast. All right. So I don't happen to be in Microvast. Maybe see financials, renew that, Tuscan Holdings, blank check company. Okay. So I think they joined via SPAC through, okay, stock purchase. Okay. So let's take a look at the daily chart. We'll see what we see, and then we can take a look at the analyst estimates and look from there. Wow, check that out. I can see why you're asking about it, Victor. That's pretty cool, the way that it whipped back around like that. And importantly, with the climb that it's made, not only did we see the hesitation around the 50-day, this is the daily chart, by the way. So we have that hesitation at the 50-day, and then the next day comes through and it just smashes through resistance and pops us up above the 200. It has gone a little bit flat, or just tiny bit negative, but pretty much flat for the 200-day slope wise. So watching that turn positive would be a strong thing. So I want to take a look at the news and see what else is going on here. Turning around this 50-day to come up and meet the 200-day would also be excellent for seeing that double cross. Golden cross. Double cross is something else. That'd be terrible. All right. So let me see. So since we're up above the 200-day, that's a bullish signal for us to turn around that way. It looks like we're going to have this peak at about just over $14 per share. And then again, just over $15 per share. The news on this one, let me see when things really started jumping and pumping for them. So on 8/5. So 5 days ago. There you go. Okay, one analyst betting against Microvast. Reddit says it's time to buy. Morgan Stanley initiates coverage. Price target of $6. All right. So I can tell you just from the news, I don't know exactly what's going on. If this is one that had any sort of high short interest, it looks like maybe that short interest did build up over time, and so maybe now it's getting some of that attention. It's not showing me for analyst estimates right here. We can take to tip ranks and see if we see anything there. There we go. All right, so just that one rating, just at that $6 price target, and we're currently trading well above that at the moment. So it's calling about a 56% downside. So based off of what we see in the chart, we see that long downward trend. We see signs of reversal, and then we had a big sell-off coming in the beginning of July, and then we get a nice base of support right around just below $8 per share. So at least we know where that support is, but that means it's dropping, as we saw in tip ranks, almost 50% to get back down in there. So finding out what's taking place to see if it's something that's lasting or if it's something that would be moving on momentum. We certainly have the volume to support the momentum that we see. Really watching the RSI here, seeing if it breaks this previous or if it's going to drop and keep on putting in lower lows and lower highs and trailing off, especially breaking down below 50 would be indicators that some of the, especially the price goes up and the RSI goes down. That would be what we have called, what we've known as bearish divergence, which would be a strong indicator of reversal back down to the downside. So that's something maybe to watch out for. So looking at the news and explaining what caused them to jump back up and break that trend that they were on would be good. And then also what caused them to break back out of that upward trend that they had and drop them back down to this level. Matter of fact, the lowest that they've ever been to, and then what caused them to rise. So trying to find those reasons might tell us more about, how lasting of a move this is and how high it could go from here. All right, what else we got? Good morning, and a chance you can look at skills. There we are. Back up above $12. Good. So I've mentioned this several times on my channel especially since I've talked about it a long time ago, back in February before the NFL thing came out. And then the NFL thing came out and the price went up over $40 per share. And then it trailed off with the rest of high growth and all that sort of sell off. Being the esports and game of skill, able to win money through their platform kind of thing. And I'm being a little bit brief about this only because we're pushing on that 9:30 time. Really, we're looking for the next viral gameplay for this, and we're looking for a trend upwards, a recovery in those monthly active users. It could be a pretty rough Q3 for them until those next sort of results come out, those reports come out. If we find in the meantime that they have a game that did take off with popularity and is really drawing in a lot of people and bringing a lot of excitement, that's something that could most definitely turn them around from where they're at. We want to see the results of all their advertising to bring people to the platform and being active on the platform and actually spending money on the platform, because those are the things that are going to bring them back from where they are price action wise with their stock. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Brooke. Yesterday was a great day. Yeah, it was. Bitcoin, absolutely. Curious what Tip Rings has to say about CNR. All right, we'll check that out. If I can type, there you go. Cornerstone building brand. All right, we'll take a look at what TipRanks has to say. Absolutely. I just want to see where this thing bottomed out recently. So it's using the 50-day as support, and then it broke it. Then it was using it as resistance, and now we're still in bullish territory, being between the two. We don't really want to see the 200-day flatten out, but the next support after the bottom of that, right around the low 14s, it's around this low 13. So it could still drop back down to there. We'll really have to see, for the most part, what happened recently. Let's find out what this company does. Cornerstone Building Brands, Consumer Cyclicals, Home Building Construction Supplies. Okay, so a lot of what we see this chart following the 50-day of support, this goes along with other companies that are in this consumer cyclicals in home building and construction space that they kept bouncing off the 50-day. And they have similar peaks around the same time. So what we could see is a trail off with the rest of the industry. So analyst estimate on this one looks like it is trading sort of cheaply compared to what we had for, or what we have here for the analyst estimates. And that's 4 analyst estimates. Market open in 20 seconds. We could do this. There we go. So TipRanks says 3-2 buys and 1 hold. 6 days ago, a $17 price target from Barclays. Sidoti, and I don't know that I've heard of that one. A buy at $25, but that was 2 months ago, and 3 months ago from D.A. Davidson, right around 18. So I would look for more of this updated guidance. If we're going to get more of it, that would tell us more of what to expect. But I think that you'll find, if you look through the peers, Cornerstone Buildings peers, that you're going to see more of that similar price action going along with it. And then just you want to check it against company-specific news, and you can see if they're trading cheaply, if they're trading more expensive relative to the rest of their peers in the industry. All right, so let me change this over. There we go. Fisker at the top of things, of course, opening up at 20%. Let's check them out. So still trading above $18 per share, and we'll drop down to the 5-minute chart so we can see a little bit more of the price action. There we go. We'll zoom in on that. So just before, it looks like it popped up to resistance around 1825 in the level 2s. 1825, we have a price wall, a little bit more sell side pressure at 1859. Decent amount of buy side support coming in the mid 17s. It looks like 1789. We have a large order there. Another large order around $18.25. So that could be, for the short term, the range that we have there. We'll see where we're going to have that winning price, because of the run up that we have in the post market and last night, the after hours, and then the pre market this morning. We could see this sort of settle off for a little bit. In the meantime, it could cool off. It could also be one that after we get through the first 5 minutes of the market open, that we really start to see more of an indicator of where that price action is going to go. Let me go out to the daily chart and see what we have for it. All right. Good evening from Japan. Well, hello, Poppy, and good evening to you. So let me see. All right, so I have this line of resistance drawn, which now that we're above that line of resistance, it could be acting as support for us for Fisker. And that's high 16, so almost $17 per share. It's where we peaked before, and it looks like the next peak that we have is around 1939. Let me zoom out again. So where are we trading right now? Okay, somewhere around that middle. So I'd be surprised if we pushed up over $20 per share today. That would be, I think that would be astounding from where we're currently at. Of course, the rest of the market and whatever is going on with EVs can also determine that. We had a good day for EVs yesterday. Hey, look at that. Just as I said, I'd be surprised if it broke. Now we're pushing up into the mid 18s at the price target. Let's go back down to intraday. There we go. If it lets me. It might not let me. Come on. There you go. All right. There it goes. My system resources are just a little bit underpowered. Look at that. I absolutely love it when the market starts to make a fool out of me. So I said I'd be surprised if it hits 20 today, and then we start spiking. We're up at $19.14 as the high, and we have a significant price. Well, where's that at? 1916. We have a big sell order, and then also, woo, lots of sell side pressure in the high 19s. All right, and just melting away that support. These buy orders are just getting filled immediately and keeping down that pressure, and then lots of orders coming in from that sell side trying to lock in some of those profits that are coming up. So we'll see if we have enough support from underneath to really keep this pushing. Another peak at $19.34. So up 27% from yesterday's close for Fisker. That's awesome. All right. So let's check the comments here. BTC mooning. Yeah, let's go to Bitcoin. There we are. Finally breaking over 46,000 again. And let's go out to the daily chart for Bitcoin. That'll be a little bit more telling than what we have here. Check that out. So we're finally back up over the 200-day. We saw that yesterday, and today the low price is still using that 200-day as support, which is currently at that 45,000 mark. So breaking up over yesterday's high of 46.7 would be great for us. It can also act as a really near-term area of resistance for us. Looking at Bitcoin, I don't believe that bullish run is anywhere near from over. I think it's just getting started, that we're just going back over that 200-day, which had run flat for a while. And we were stuck between the 50 and 200 for a few days. And now we're finally back to an area of support resting on that 200-day. And back to what I had for Ethereum, I said, what's next for Ethereum? And I was going to say breaking over 32, but it was a question when it happens. And look what we have. It happened. So answering the question before I even got to it, what's next for Ethereum? That the fact that we were sort of barcoding a little bit and resting on that resistance line that I have drawn here, we had that momentum, an engulfing candle here, which could have been a double top resist, but then we got another engulfing candle bringing back the other way. And so now we have that continued upward pressure. And Ethereum is just going to be incredibly successful moving forward. That's my opinion on it. And what we're seeing now is some of the price action on the future promises of what we have through proof of stake and sharding for Ethereum. And we have a lot of coverage coming out from some bigger names talking about how wonderful, like Mr. Wonderful himself, coming out and talking about his bullish stance on Ethereum and talking about it becoming deflationary. And so he has enough sway, I think, where people who may have been hesitant before on the fence about investing in Ethereum and, wondering if it really has all the promise that the hype says it does. I think this is helping sort of move that narrative along a little bit, that we're starting to get those bigger names back into it. But it's funny, if you look back to the news stories, by this time back here, you had the dedicated following saying, this is going to recover, this is going to bounce back from here, and it will end up higher overall. And so now that it is higher overall, now people are saying, yeah, it will. So I think that we're in good shape for Ethereum. I think what's next for it, I think we're going to see continued price movement. And if we zoom out a little bit more, we don't have a lot to go on from here as far as resistance. We have a fairly clear path on that march upward to bring us back to those highs that we saw of 43.83. So really watching this establish that line of resistance around 3,200 is sort of a good thing. And the fact that we crossed above it, now is a matter of, waiting to see if we're going to close above resistance or not. So right here, we're looking at the 5-minute chart, really strong green candle that we have right here. And I'll go to CoinMarketCap in just a moment. And this is a very bullish sign that we have right here, that we have that momentum starting to pump. And as long as we don't get that big retracement here, this could be just a little resting period before it pushes onward. I wouldn't be surprised to see this start dancing with 3,300 today. And if it breaks 3,300, then we're in a really good position in the near term for Ethereum. And I think it starts to make people believe more and more those bull cases that are coming out for Ethereum, going up to over 4,000 again by year's end, and 2025 case of going up over 10,000. I think that people start to realize the impact that EIP 1559 is having, which I have that up here for you. It's one that I keep bringing up. And so right now at over $3,000, we're pushing on that $70 million mark for how much Ethereum has been burned. And if you look at how much has been issued, over 46,000 issued, we are close to the new ETH being issued since 1559, and the amount that has been burned since 1559, that's almost 50% of what's been issued has been washed out by what's been burned. So really slowing down that production that we have of new ether and entering into the market. But we still have the miners that are taking care of their their fees by, dumping the ether back onto the market. When that pressure comes off, and when we get to the scalability of it, and we start to really see this take off with further institutional adoption, and it really starts to hit as the predominant form of transacting, whether it's through the DeFi space or the DApp space, we could see absolutely incredible things coming out of Ether in the future. And this is why it's my number one crypto that I have out there. All right. So let me see what else we have. All right. No problem, Victor. You're welcome. Good morning, Sean. Looks like ETH keeps hitting resistance at 3,200. Yes, it does. I wouldn't say, yeah, we broke 3,200, but I wouldn't say that we've cleared resistance in a super meaningful way yet. So I would say, sometimes if we hit 3,300 and we know that we're clear of 32. Right now, there's just that slight little tag above is a good thing, and it's a good sign. But now we want to see that that we can start using 3,200 as support rather than as resistance. Absolutely, no problem, Brooke. Taco says DDD printing like crazy. There we go, 3D systems. Woo, look at that. Another one that's up over 20%, like our friend Fisker. And I am a big fan of 3D systems. And I've told this story before on my channel whenever I talk about 3D systems. And I can't believe that still, after all this time, that I still don't have a position. So for 3D systems, I remember reading up about it, and I didn't catch on to it until it was in probably about the low 20s. So it was right around here in this little pennant / bullish flag case that we have. And around 25, I was like, well, it's a little rich for me right now. I'm just going to wait. If it goes under 20 again, I'll go ahead and grab some. And then it took the run to 56. So I was like, well, I guess I should have grabbed some. But hindsight, I made the right call at that time. You can't really dog yourself too much for hindsight. And then the big sell-off happened. And then talking about dropping below 20, there wasn't a huge amount of time where it dropped below 20, but it did drop below 20. And I didn't have it on my watch list like I should have. And the opportunities definitely slipped me by. And then we had a lot of action there. And now notice after their earnings, they're in a very good position, back up to the mid 30s. And once again, I still don't have a position, but it's one that I absolutely would have loved to have a position in. And something I want to point out, look how well it's responding, even the biggest of selling pressure. So there's May 10th, when it was around that mid-May time. For the most part, it was May 11th or May 13th. So this is probably the first one that I remember looking at, that May 10th was the day that it hit its lows. And then the 11th and 12th and 13th were all higher than that one. But yeah, most definitely, that would have been the time when I saw that big sell-off to get into 3D systems. It tags the 200. It also tagged the 200 again in those max selling pressure type days. And now we're trading back up above. So very good signs for 3D systems moving forward. And wow, we're up another 2% just from the time I switched to it. Let's look intraday. Heck yeah, look at that. Look at that volume spike that we have coming out of 3D systems. 3.6 million shares traded. And we look at yesterday's open. So on the 9th, 262,000. So we are over 10x the trading volume on 3D systems. And I think that people, not only do we have a rotation back into the tech and the high growth plays, but also people waking up to or realizing the potential that we have for 3D systems. So this climb, I don't know if it's sustainable. It might pull back, but if it does pull back, sorry about that. I wanted to go to the daily chart. But if it does pull back, that 50-day that we have right around that $30 could be something that would hold tight for us moving forward with 3D systems. Let's look for today on the level 2. It looks like, all right, so between about $37, we start to get steep amounts of selling pressure, and down at like mid 34s, mid to high 34s, it looks like we have a fair amount of buying pressure to prop that up. So $34 to $37 within, well, it's hard to tell because it's only 942. However, that at least gives us a sort of range where we're finding that support and that resistance currently. Big buy side support at $35. Let's look at the analyst estimates on 3D systems. So according to the analyst estimates right now, I mean, we're trading very richly. So for me to take a position now, remember I said I wanted in under $20 earlier in the year, back in January, February, and I never got in. and now it's well up above this. And if I would have gotten in about around 20, I would have been below the average analyst estimate. I certainly don't want to take my first entry above the high analyst estimate. I'd have to have significant reason in order to do that, and I don't have that sort of reason yet. By the way, we are pushing on 25% upside. Let's take a look at tip ranks. While that's loading, I'll take a quick sip of Joe here. All right, so average analyst estimate, they're saying $25. What was the most recent one? 2 weeks ago, $29 price target. And remember, I said about it setting on resistance right around that $30 mark that we have right now on the 50-day moving average. What else we got? 26, 24. So I said it traded kind of richly, and we could be trading off a lot of hype. It is one of those big, and it plays that can carry a lot of our small play, big momentum. And we could definitely be seeing some of that momentum right now. And I don't know that I want to go against these sort of analysts that we have right here and really push towards a higher valuation, at least for my entry point. It'd be different if I was dollar cost averaging and I was regularly adding to my position in 3D systems. That's not the case. I don't want to start my position with it being well up above the analyst estimates that we have. Now, with their earnings having come out, there we go. So where are we at here? Adjusted earnings per share, 12 cents, and second quarter revenue, 162 million. Let me see. There's what I'm looking for. 12 cents beats the 5-cent estimate, so they more than doubled their earnings per share estimate, and then their sales also came out about 19 million higher, so another 10% stronger sales than what was there. So really, to sell non-remaining core assets. Okay. Yeah, I want to read up more about that to find it out. And we really want to see some new price targets put out given their earnings. So over the next few days, I would watch that if it's a stock that you're interested in, to find out what we can expect for 3D systems moving forward in light of the most recent earnings and the most recent guidance that we've gotten for them. All right. So thank you, Taco. Sean says, and there goes ETH right past resistance. So there, now I caught up to you. Where is my, we'll have to check out. Let's go to ETH. There we go. Ethereum Grayscale Trust. I don't know. Do you guys call it ETH? I always have. I don't know if it's just me. Or do you say ETH? Do you just call it Ethereum Grayscale? Just a Grayscale Ethereum? I don't know. I've always called it ETH. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but that's what I call it. So opening up above yesterday's close, so another 1.5%. And this will move right along with the price action that we see with Ethereum. And so it's funny because when you look at this, if it were just a normal company that was trading and not one that was tied to Ethereum, this would be one that would be sort of scary for me, that I would I'd be like, maybe I'll, and I do have a position in this. And so it'd be one I'd be like, maybe I'll take some profit. I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. But for Ethereum, I think that we're just at the beginning of the next run. And so even if it does take time, I can see it settling a little bit in the near future. We should actually look at Ethereum itself just so I can talk about it more specifically rather than the Grayscale Trust. There we go. So we're looking at the daily chart, and I can absolutely see it touching resistance, even if it does settle a little bit below resistance, maybe taking us back down to 2,800 even before bouncing again. I don't know that that would happen. I would see more than likely we'll touch resistance, if at all. And then, after the bulls get to rest a little bit, then they'll pick up speed again and push us back onward to the mid 3,000s. So we'll most definitely watch for that. And I was saying before about being significantly over 3,200. We did peak up above it, and that could be just a little peekaboo before it drops back down. It's important that we close the day above 3,200 if we're going to have further confirmation that resistance truly has been broken. So keep that in mind. And I do think that we are on the next bull run. And what we really want to see for the people who are bullish on Ethereum is that we stay above this 2,400 mark, because that would be that 50% between the low that we have here and that high that we have up there. And I'm just going off of what I can see here proportionally speaking versus actually calculating top to bottom and then dividing by 2. But staying above the 50% retracement would be absolutely crucial. If it would drop below that, then we would see signs of a reversal. But I don't think that's going to happen. It would take significantly bad news for crypto in general, I think, or something specific about Ether to change that. But I don't see anything about its trajectory changing anytime soon. So maybe that next, if there were a negative catalyst, maybe it would be more FUD coming out of regulation or over-regulating, too much government oversight, things like that. So let me see what else you got. Market rally, and then ETH just dumped if you want to buy the dip. My goodness, Sean. You're keeping ahead of this a little bit more than me, but I'm just trying to look across all the other different things that we have. Let's see where our friend Tesla is. All right, so up above, what do I have here? I have the daily chart. So across the tops, I said that we had a little pennant going on. We could break in either direction, and we actually broke down below. We closed that day at 699, and then closed the next day at 713, and we are currently at 704. So staying above 700. I mean, I think that we're doing a great job. We can see resistance over here is now support over here. So that ceiling becomes the floor. And I think holding steady above 700 would be a good case for Tesla. Let it trade sideways for a while and let it settle down. We did have a heck of a run. You can see I have this line drawn for those lows. And I had this bigger wedge drawn in here to say that, again, that we could break to either side. And we broke to the upside that time. So now we could be, maybe instead of this pennant, maybe updating it now with further information. It's more of a flag formation that we have. And I'm failing on this drawing tool. So we'll zoom in a little bit. So across the tops, we're trending downward. And then let me grab my segment tool here. There we are. So maybe I'm not trying to cut that bottom off, but I don't know that we have a lot of symmetry here. It could be. We'll see if we get that upward and downward pressure, more of a squeeze over time, because the more of a squeeze we have, you can think of it sort of like a spring that we're waiting to either break support or resistance. And, you know, when it finally gives it, the price can shoot off in either direction. 700 being that near round number support that we have, a nice psychological support as well. I am totally failing with the drawing tools here. But yeah, that round number support that we have in this case is going to be huge for us. So maybe a few more days now that we have this, and maybe we'll see a push to the upside finally. And I think it's going to be more overall news that we get about EVs and green energy, and good news at that, if we get that good news to push us up to the upside again. But trading sideways for a while, if it fails to really make this pennant formation, this bullish pennant push to the upside, if it just trades sideways, I think we're in good shape, because that shows us where to find a really good support, that nice baseline of support, and also resistance. So we actually know a little bit more of where our price is going during the near term. Tesla long term, I keep on seeing the number 900 pop up for end of year. Really watch the deliveries. I think the deliveries on their EVs are going to be really telling for that, and also what they do with their charging stations. And hopefully, I know that they're not unionized, but hopefully that's something that can come around and really help out Tesla moving forward with that infrastructure package piece, something that they could actually, possibly still get a piece of. Even so, having being the, I don't know about first market, but the big name in the EV space, I think is going to be huge for them moving forward, and being the tech company that they are and that they continue to innovate and push forward, I think is going to be something that really does propel them into the future. By the way, if we zoom out even farther on this, we have an even bigger wedge pattern. I'll just trace it right now. So across the tops coming down this way, across the bottoms coming up this way. I think that there could be a bigger theme here that would show us that we're still apt to break to the upside, moving along with this positively sloped 200-day that we see here, which will eventually push us, I believe, in my opinion, above that $700 mark in a very significant way. All right, let me see what else we have. All right, visit NEO while we're in the vein of EVs. Back up to about 45. Nice. All right, so we currently have NEO trying to decide if these moving averages are support or resistance, and they keep sort of wrapping themselves and coiling around them. And NEO, I'm still putting out there that $50 to $60, and I know that that's well below what TipRank says. They say about mid 60s moving forward. So for them, breaking above the mid 46s we'll give them that. But really, I think September the 1st, when we find out about those deliveries, if we get strong delivery news, I think that that's the next big catalyst that we have for NEO for their price action, whether it's upward or downward, showing how they're persevering through the chip shortage and how they're faring, and also the guidance that they give us, how soon they expect to really rotate out of it. So delivery news showing that there's still good demand, and that they also have the supply to meet that demand. So that's for NEO, $50 to $60 by the end of the year. The price target, by the way, is a 12-month price target. So that pushes us into 2022. I think that NEO is going to do big things, and I think that as we continue to hit those numbers, as they continue to expand, we're going to keep on getting higher and higher price targets. So for me, I have a position in NEO, and it's most definitely something that I don't plan on selling anytime soon, assuming that they continue to build out in China, expand into Europe, and if they come into the United States as part of their expansion, I think that that would be absolutely huge for them moving forward. All right. Up by Fisker just for a moment, and then we'll get back to some of the Chinese EV plays that we have. So Fisker back under 19, and we have lots of sell side pressure right around, excuse me, the low 19s, and we still haven't hit that 20 mark where we peak out 1948. So like I said about being surprised about hitting 20, I really would be surprised. As a matter of fact, I was surprised that it jumped as quickly as it did during that market open. But it does look to have settled since then. So we'll look at some of the other EV plays that we have out there. We'll stop by ChargePoint because I think that's worth stopping at. Let's go down to the 5-minute chart on Fisker here. So currently rocking above 26. We're actually nearing the next breakout for this one, according to what's on the 5-minute chart. If this candle that we have right now, it's 955. So if this candle doesn't break down below these previous lows that we have a little peekaboo down under there. This could be a bullish flag for us, where we find a resistance right around the 1917. And we want to watch the volumes too. So if we see that next volume spike, the fact that it tapered off is a good thing. It looks like there's a lot of indecision, but it hasn't really broken down through this big candle that it has right here, the body of the candle. We're not over that 50% retracement level right now. So I think that this could still, especially if we get a nice little hammer candle here, or just really narrow range on that body of this candle, we could start seeing by 10 o'clock that push to the back to the upside. And maybe it will make a fool out of me, and maybe we see that either high 19s, or maybe we'll even tickle $20. I don't know. So let's move on from there. By the way, if you guys see it go up to $20, make sure that that you tell me about it in the chat here, and I'll jump back to it. We'll see what's going on with the price action. So let me say, we already went to NEO. Let's go to XPeng. There we go. XPeng rocking around $43. So they had a decent start, but then they trailed off since then. I wouldn't be surprised here if we saw a little bit of a recovery back up into the 43s. We had a big start, and then followed by a bit of a sell-off. But now we're starting to sputter out on the bearish side of things, and now we're starting to have battles between the bears and the bulls, and so it's a matter of who wins. And like up there, now it's back up into 43. We'll see if it brings us back up into like 43.30, and maybe, I don't know, it's come down pretty deep into that one. I don't know if it'll come back up and tag that previous high-ish spot that we had right around the mid 43s. It could, but maybe like 43.30 or something like that is what we see coming out of this. So we'll watch that, and maybe this 50 period that we have on the 5-minute chart here could act as a little bit of support for us, as we saw right here from this candle. All right. There we go. Li Auto, a different looking chart than what we had for XPeng. Lee had great delivery numbers. Oh, and look at that on the daily chart. Look how well it's using the 50-day as support. Excellent. So people ask me about buying opportunities, and so I can't give advice for finding financial advice, when to buy, when to sell, what to buy, all that kind of stuff. I can't do it. But I can say that I like to find prices that would be near support areas if I'm going to take a long position on it. and I like to try and stay away from where they're near areas of resistance. So for this, if we buy it at this price, we're buying right into resistance. We are sitting on the 50-day. We have positive slopes between the 50-day and the 200-day. The fact that 50-day, the faster moving average crossed back over is a good thing. And above where are we at right now? 30.86. So I would say above the mid 31s, we start to get into an area where we might have a little bit more room to the upside in the near term on Li Auto. And I think longer term, there we go. Longer term, I don't think that is trading too rich. So we have 18 analysts covering this, and the average analyst is $40 from the 30 that it's at right now. So that's another 30-ish% upside to that point. And I think that that Li is going to be another very popular choice in China. So I wouldn't count it out by any means. As a matter of fact, I think it has just as much promise as we would have with like Xpeng, for example. And Neo, I think, is still going to be the winner and the champion in that space. Let me see. I saw NNDM. There we go. So $10 price target from one analyst who said, go ahead and buy this. Looks like they're having a decent day today. We really want to see them break out of this little rut that they've been in. Seeing them in the low sixes, in the high fives, their cash position alone makes their stock worth the high fives. So when this dropped down below the high fives into the low to mid fives to 539, it was bound to recover because their cash position alone covers that sort of stock price that we have. So a lot of the risk is out of NNDM based on that cash position. Of course, they can spend that cash. They're said about acquisition targets with NNDM. We learned to kind of fear too much price action from them because there was so much share dilution that happened through the different capital raises that they've done. And Yoav Stern told us at least 2 times, possibly 3 times, that they had a great cash position and that they were well funded. And then when the price ran up again, then we got hit again. And I think that there's still that fear that it could just keep on happening. And I think that's something that's also keeping that price down. Something else is that we haven't seen the revenue. We haven't seen the sales really coming through for NNDM yet. And, Yoav was saying, the CEO for NNDM was saying that they want to get through the pandemic and then really hit full force with their sales and their marketing. So we're really, as investors, waiting to watch that come to fruition. We want to see more of their Dragonfly technology being really put out there, more of their recurrent sales through selling the inks that they use for those 3D printing systems. We want to see those really start to flesh out as well. And then also, I think that they have revenue also from maybe customer support. I'd have to go back and look at that one, but that would be something else. Again, that top line, at least for right now, while they are a growth company, we don't really expect anything from the bottom line yet. We want to see them fill out that top line, fill out that revenue, and really start to push themselves out into the market and fulfill that sort of promise that a lot of us saw and still see in them that caused their price to run up to almost $18 per share before the big sell-off. So sitting below the moving averages, that's a bearish sign for us. We're still kind of filling out that trend from the top that we saw. Watching them break through resistance on those moving averages, crossing back up above the 50-day, especially back up over the 200-day. Then we start to see strong confirmation that we get more into the area of a reversal of the trend for NNDM. All right. Let's stop by Bitcoin. We haven't stopped there yet. By the way, I always aim to end at 10 o'clock. It is currently 10:02. So I'll go on for probably till 10:10. We'll say the next 7.5 minutes. So if you guys have any stocks or anything you want me to talk about or you want to see, just let me know. Put it in the comments. Anything else you want to say in the comments, just let me know and we'll take a look there as well. So Bitcoin, let's zoom in a little bit. So yesterday was their highest price recently of 46.7, and then today high price 46.1. So 46,000 definitely broken, but then we returned right back to it. Let me see. Right now we're rocking at 45.4. So today, if that closes above 46, we're in really good shape. So that would have to turn around from where it's at now. This one opened at 45.7. So watching for that to happen. Right there's that little pennant formation that I drew for Bitcoin. We actually broke to the downside just for a little bit. And I drew that, I think maybe while this candle was still forming up, that's what it looks like. And we broke out to the upside, peaked out at resistance around 42,000 before slowing back down and then recovering a little bit and then turning into our next little run that we have here. We're back up over the 200-day for the first time. Here we peekabooed above it, and this was on May 26th. And the last time before that where we actually opened above it was on 5/21. So we're back to where we were at back in May. But the difference here for those candles that we had where we dropped all below the 200-day average, that we're back up above it, and just ever so slightly we're starting to get that turn to a positive slope for Bitcoin as we move forward. Atamera. All right, thank you, Victor. Let's go check it out. All right. Wow. All right. So again, daily chart that we're looking at here had a really good little run here, bringing us back up over the moving averages. Had strong volume. This is on August the 4th. Let me see the volume of 2.5 million shares. High price 22.15. Find a resistance around the mid 23s. Let's zoom out more to see more of a picture. Okay. So let me see analyst estimates on this one. Wow, we are over 50% down, but it's one analyst covering it. So likely more of a smaller company. Let me see Q2 earnings. We don't have any news from this one. Woo. All right, so here's what I see on it. So all the way back from here, there we go. See how long I can extend that out. There we go. So we have those lows that are trending upward, and that's a good thing. And then I got to move my screen a little bit there. I'm running into the top of it. There we go. There we go. Uh-oh, somehow I drew something out there. There we go. So off the highs, there we go. We'll bring that back a little bit. So while this thing is trending downward, that could be a bearish sign for us, but we do have it, and you can see this is slightly to the downside. So we could have more continued downward pressure on this thing that it could keep pushing down, and then we could look for it to for that buying pressure to come in, that underside pressure that we have, the bullish pressure to come in around the low 17s. So this could push up against this resistance that we have here, fall back down, and as this narrows, you can think about that again as really squeezing between the bulls and the bears, and then it should spring one way or the other. I don't know much of anything at all about this company, only what I've seen so far. Technology, semiconductors, and semiconductor equipment. There you go. Follows Mears Technology. It's a development stage company. Okay. All right, so one of those semiconductor plays. So that's something that, you know, it could come back with some of the other with the supplies of the semiconductor. Sorry, I just wanted to take a further look, but this is just something to keep in mind, that we could see it kind of oscillate and bounce back and forth and narrow on itself before we start to see that. And what you want to look for is the catalyst, the thing that's going to cause us to break either to the upside or break to the downside. We could have, given this most recent volume that we have here, it is possible, especially as we have this really narrow candle happening here as well. Let me switch back to, there we go, the auto scale. So we did just peekaboo up above that, but now we want to watch this and see if we get maybe, let me see this daily chart. So maybe tomorrow would be that day, see where it opens and see if it starts to push to the upside. If so, we could start breaking this pattern. We could start break to the upside, or it could take a little bit more to progress and mature before we start to see where that breakout is going to happen and in which direction. All right. Let's visit our friend Polygon. So used to be the Matic network, then switched to Polygon, and not a lot of coverage, not a long history of coverage from WEBULL, but it's one that they started covering. We can see when that happened back in the beginning of June. And I don't think that it's tradable yet. I don't think that's tradable yet on WEBULL, but you could get it through any of the other major exchanges that are out there. And if you go to CoinMarketCap, there we go, and you type in Matic or Polygon, either way it'll show up. So if you go to coinmarketcap.com and then you look up Polygon, it says Matic Network has announced that they're rebranding to Polygon. For more details, visit the project website here. Currently sitting at $1.14. This is another one that I'm bullish on and that I have a position in. They actually do show you what markets you can find it on. So if you scroll down enough, and this is for any crypto that you would find on CoinMarketCap. So Binance, Coinbase, Huobi, FTX, and I'm sure that there's others as well. There you go. You can see all markets, and then that'll show you more places where you can go buy it. So KuCoin is another big one that's out there. Kraken is also another really awesome exchange that you can find for crypto. Gemini would be another one. So all different places that you could find it, and they also show you the pairs that it trades in, and well, there's a whole lot of them. So just something to think about. So if you don't find what you're looking for, and with WEBULL, I don't believe that you're actually buying the cryptocurrencies. You're actually buying just a we'll call it a position with the cryptocurrencies that you can't actually download them to. You can't move them to one of your own wallets or anything like that. So the exchanges you would be able to. So just keep that in mind. So we're trading above the 50-day, the RSI moving up nicely. So we're actually getting back into bullish territory for that as well. And this will somewhat follow what we have for Ethereum moving forward, because it is a layer 2 solution that we have. Go back to the overview here. It is a layer 2 solution that we have for adding scalability to the Ethereum network and keeping a lot of those trading fees down. There we go. This will give us a better trading view. Come on, candlesticks. There we are. So this is the daily chart that we're looking at. And again, it's on CoinMarketCap. And take a look at that resistance that we're finding right now. So we had that little dip down. We didn't have that same double bottom that we had with Ethereum. However, we're starting to try and push up on resistance right at that $1.14. And if Ethereum should happen to start pushing well above the 3,200 that it finds itself at right now, and really starts to move to those mid threes, I think that we'll start to see this start to take off as well. And those scaling solutions that we find on the Ethereum network are something that are going to continue to stay crucial, especially if it's going to be the main commerce crypto that we have in the future for Ethereum. So the Matic network, Polygon as it were, is something that we see a lot of adoption for it, and lots of really good positive news coming out about it as well. And we just haven't seen the price action come along with it. But I think that when we do break resistance, we're going to break it significantly. That'll move us back up into the higher, close to mid-dollar range that we have right now. All right. So just a quick look at what the markets are doing. So S&P 0.24, Dow 0.35, NASDAQ 0.07. There we are. And one other one that I want to look at, I've recently started seeing advertisements for Arcimoto. It'll be interesting to see when they report their earnings, how much that they spent on their advertising revenue. But I think getting their name out there and seeing the results of getting their name out there are really going to help out. They're actually pushing on resistance right now in the mid-18s, and checking out those lows trending upward as they are. It is highly likely, assuming that the rest of EV and green energy and high growth goes well, we could see that break to the upside for Arcimoto. And when we look at it, we don't have too much above that resistance right now to really stop us. We have this peak back here at $20.20, and then over here we have that double top in the 50-period moving average at 21.35. So we have a fair amount of room over resistance to make a big jump out of this, and we could possibly see that in the next few days. So this is one maybe to keep on your radar, just to see how it's doing and check it out. Cardano up to $1.45. There we go. I have a smaller position in Cardano, but this is one that I absolutely like as well. And which one is it for them that's coming up? Is it Alonso? I don't know why I can never remember the names of the different developments or the there we go, forks that Cardano comes out with. I really should pay closer attention to them. There you go. I don't think that it's an Ethereum killer. I think it's an Ethereum alternative, and I think that you're going to find with the way that it conducts its own business, with the research back improvements that it has, or the changes that it makes, that it takes its time and then makes slow, thoughtful decisions, I think is really going to pay off for them over the time. And I don't think that Ethereum rushes things. So that's not at all what I'm saying, but I think that there's going to be people who are big fans of the way that Charles Hoskinson conducts his business with Cardano moving forward. Yeah, we might find that out in a moment here. Gauguin, maybe. Let me see. There you go. Ethereum will peak in less than 2 years, but Cardano also progresses. Yeah, we know that. All right. 3 important ledger changes that the Alonso hard fork will bring. There we go. There's a Gauguin that you were referring to with the smart contracts. There you go. All right. The Alonso hard fork will bring exciting. Oh, geez. The pop-ups on the internet anymore are not as bad as they were in the late 90s. When you had to install third-party pop-up blockers. But man, they still come out there. They get on my nerves. All right. So Alonso hard fork will bring exciting and highly anticipated new capabilities through integration of Plutus scripts onto the blockchain. This means for smart contracts in Cardano. That's going to be huge for them moving forward, thereby addressing a major criticism of Cardano and opening the door to a whole set of new and exciting decentralized finance apps. Excellent. The plan was for Alonso's functionality to get tested in 3 phases: blue, white, and purple. And apparently there's 2 different shades of purple that go along with this. I don't know if they mention it here, but I don't know if it's light purple and dark purple, I think is what they are. And I think they're highly related. And I don't know why they chose colors to talk about the 3 different phases. Maybe it has something to do with Alonso, but well, I don't mean the Alonso hard fork. I mean Alonso referring to, I don't see the person here. I think Alonso is a guy. Not totally certain about that. So we're going to check into which historian they're referring to, or our person from history that they're referring to. IOHK, that's the research body, went on to say that Alonso Purple will be the first fully publicly Cardano testnet to support smart contracts. Yeah, so that'll be neat to watch that play out over time. All right, so see if there's anything else that I wanted to stop by. NCLH, looks like cruise lines recovering a little bit from their recent sell-off with the Delta variant news. Neat. All right, so what we're looking at here on NCLH is that it did bottom out recently at 21.28, came up, flirted with resistance for a while in the 200-day, but failed to break it, tumbled back down with a lot of the Delta variant news. And possible resurgence of cases, and now it's recovering. It is possible that this could be a double bottom. We have to wait and see for confirmation, especially breaking up above the 200-day be confirmation that we see more of a reversal. It is going to be news dependent on the pandemic to watch how that plays out. Really, it comes down to sailing. So the more that they can sail, and the more they're free to sail, and the more that there's demand for sailing, we get better confirmation that that they're rotating out of this time and coming back to strength. So and that goes for cruise lines in general. I believe CCL has a very similar chart, but RCL I think is just a little different. So we'll stop by CCL first, and then we'll go to RCL. AMC to accept Bitcoin. I'm going to check that out. So here's CCL, and you can see what we saw was not specific to NCLH. Bottomed out at the same time, came up, flirted with resistance at the same time, dropped at the same time. Now we're back up, getting close to that resistance. And again, we could see that W shape that we have here, double bottom, sort of forming up. And that double bottom can be a very bullish sign, but we need confirmation through high volume. And we also need confirmation through breaking that 200-day that we have right here, moving back up above that moving average is also going to be extra confirmation. We have a little teeny tiny flag pattern here that we might get that sort of bullish reversal. But we do want to see those higher trade volumes come through and really show us more of that. The RSI, not going to be the strongest indicator right now because of the way that it is trading, but we are peaking just above 50. So some of that momentum could be coming back. We really want to see how those trade volumes play out. This could be a very weak higher price for us today, given that we don't have a lot of support from the volume yet. Certainly nothing that we saw back here when it dropped down below $20 per share. RCL. There we go. So it looks a little different, similar, much closer to resistance than what CCL and NCLH were. So this is one we could see that turn back around. If it does break resistance, we could see some of those volumes come back in a very excited way and could show us breaking to the upside. So this one actually runs into resistance sooner in those low 80s, so like $81 to $82. So that's something else to watch out for. And then we also have that 50-day creeping downward that could also act as the next area of resistance for us. So it won't be a straight shot for the cruise lines. And if you look at the overall trend, we're still moving very steadily downward from these lows, with the exception of back here where we had a peak fear day and where we may have had a little bit too much excitement too fast. We still have a very bearish look to this, and we're still going to be watching for those signs of reversal. The 200-day still is positively sloped, so that's good. This 50-day that we have looks like it has little humps and waves to it, and it looks like we're due for a little bit of a turnaround sometime soon, but it's going to go off of the news that we hear regarding the pandemic and regarding sailing. All right, we'll stop by AMC yet, and then here we go. I just want to take a look at the price actions that we have over here. Okay. Yeah, so AMC, we had a chance for a breakout back here where we had a bit of a narrowing. So at 72. Sometimes I wonder, there we go, just how zoomed in I was when I drew these things. Looks like not enough. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so we had a chance to break in either direction, and we broke to the downside on this one. A lot of the hype and momentum coming out of it, and a lot of hurt feelings. So that talk about the seeing it reach those GameStop levels like it did in January, just so far hasn't happened. But the fact that it's still up in the mid 30s is very strong. There's a lot of people holding on and waiting for that that sort of turnaround to still happen, and it looks like low 30s is where we're finding that area of support in the meantime for AMC. So time will tell if we actually bring that around, that the apes come in and really take hold and push it on further. If there would be any sort of short interest, that would get them squeezed out. So up over 5% today. AMC CEO says theater chain is going on offense with this $2 billion in liquidity. Excellent. They should be well funded. They should be absolutely not ready to go bankrupt anytime soon. I think that they have some debt to take care of, and there still needs to be that return to the theaters. Just recently, my family and I watched Black Widow on Disney Plus, and really we're itchy to get back to the theaters, because even though we watched it at home and it was kind of neat that we could watch a new release like that at home, and overall it was cheaper because I think it was $30 for us to get premiere access. And when we go to the theater, we do the traditional style of overpaying for the popcorn, the soda. My daughter gets the slushies from there. I know I've heard Stockmo, who was kind enough to stop by my Discord yesterday. That was pretty cool, pretty exciting to hear from him and participate a little bit. But he was talking about the cherry slushies from AMC and wanting to get back out into the theaters for those. I don't get the slushies myself. For me, it's usually a cherry flavored cola or something. I think it's cherry Coke that they have. I think it's Coke products. In any case, we want to get back. Yeah, it's overpaying, but it's an experience to actually go and see it on the big screen and everything. And I would absolutely love to see the theaters reopen in big and meaningful ways, and for those big names to really come back to it. Especially, I think the next I'm excited about Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, and my daughter is looking forward to the Eternals. So we'll watch those come out, and hopefully we get back to the theaters sometime soon. By the way, looking at the level 2, lots of buy side support right around 35.50. And right now it's getting a lot of sell side pressure too, and the still around the mid 35s, like 35.70, 30. There's okay. It keeps on jumping on me. So now 36. Yeah, so interesting to watch that play out. We'll see if it ends up turning things back around. It does have to break this previous high if it's going to start reversing. And so far, we're at about that 50% level where it's possible that it could. Actually, we're just below it. Need to go up above that 50% level where we start to see stronger confirmation that it's actually going to turn things around more meaningfully. All right. Well, it's 10:23. I've officially gone over by 23, almost 24 minutes. But I really do appreciate you guys being here and participating in the comments. Thank you for all of that. It's been wonderful. And be back tomorrow at 9:15 for more of the market talk that we have and more of the crypto talk that we have. And it's I hope it continues to be exciting. And thank you guys for bringing all these different companies to my attention. For the ones that I haven't seen before, we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.